upcoming Season 2. This is Chicago Ted and Statsman Sir Rabbit Koala gaining with you here on the action. We're looking forward to a good game. Haven't seen these guys play just yet, but I loved getting a feel for these teams as they scrim up, because it lets me know like where people are standing when the actual season does start, and that will be starting soon, so we all look forward to that. Alright, so on and up to the draft. Seems we might have an issue here. No. Oh, it's just an issue with my stats, man. Okay. So first out, we see the Darkseer banned out. Great team fight. Pretty much wrecks any melee hero as well in lane and in the team fight. So it's good that they're getting rid of him. It's not the hero that you want to fight against, especially if you have a melee heavy lineup. But even if you have ranged lineup, if he gets one vacuum off on you, he brings you into a singularity, and it's just not fun for you to fight. Batrider going out for Tiny Flightless Dragons. So pretty standard drafting phase going on just now. For those of you in-game, I should probably turn on my open mic so that you can hear me. There we go. So for those of you joining me in-game, this is Chicago Ted, and this is Tiny Flightless Dragons versus Deleted. A very apt-looking icon there, as there's nothing. Makes sense, right? Lifestealer and Treant being banned out, so looking for these anti-melee heroes. Treant with his living armor able to block out instances of damage, 4 at level 1 and up to 7 at level 4, and Lifestealer just an ultimate man-moding hero. So seems like we're going to have a very ranged lineup as time goes on with some heavy-duty melee tanks. And there's the heavy-duty melee tank right there. Alchemist in and of itself can be played as a carry or a support. We'll just have to wait and see what the rest of the draft is. But I'm excited. I really am. I love Alchemist in games. He's one of my favorite carries. But I've seen him built a ton of different ways. You can go the Hala Hala Get Dala mode, where you go for the Radiance, you go for the Hand of Midas, and ultimately it's not the most effective fighting build, but it really gives you so much farm to accelerate into the late game with heavy tier items earlier than ever before. Or you could go the support build and level up his Unstable Concoction and his Acid Spray, and you're going to be doing a lot of damage from the get-go. Weaver coming off of Tiny Flightless Dragons. Seems we have a bit of DCing going on. Everyone DCing and coming back, so server might be a bit unstable. We hope that doesn't make any difference as the game goes on, but for now, we'll just deal with it. If they need a reconnect, we can do a reconnect. So just waiting on the second pick from Tiny Flightless Dragons. Again, this is for the Reddit Dota2 League, and that's going to be starting sometime soon. The scrims phase is about to end, so we won't be seeing too many more scrims. We'll start going into actual league games. But for now, these little games are very fun for the players as they can try out their different things, get a feel for the competition, and I can just have fun casting some good games. So Nature's Prophet gonna go against the Farmer. The Alchemist can usually do it if the Alchemist gets shut down enough, but Alchemist with his built-in Hand of Midas, it's kind of difficult as he gets bonus gold right from the start. Nature's Prophet, very good split pusher though. In fact, probably one of the best split pushers in the game, as he can go from area to area without a Boots of Travel. He's already got that teleport skill built in. He can teleport pretty much anywhere, so from sniping off couriers to bursting down waves, he's a very good utility hero that can turn into a great damage output later on in the game. Unfortunately though, Nyx Assassin able to do a lot to him earlier on, as if you think you know where he's going, you park that Nyx right by that wave, that Nature's Prophet's going to be there, and he's going to get bursted down by a hell of a lot of damage. Also good, as if the Nyx gets a gem, he can spot out that Weaver pretty well, but of course, Weaver is still one of the most sneaky heroes, able to get away in a flash, because that Scoochie not only gives him invisibility so that you can't see him, I mean you can get a dust or a gem for that, but it also gives him max movement speed, which is very difficult to fight against if you don't have the right tools, like a good reliable stun. Although we do have the Alchemist, so we could see some good stuns. Weaver able to time-lapse if he gets in a bad position, though. So it's going to be interesting to see how they combat this Weaver as the game progresses on. Kind of squishy on the earlier phases, though. And if he doesn't level up Scoochie first, he's very susceptible to that off-lane damage output. Although I don't think I've ever known a Weaver to go anything other than level 1 Scoochie. We'll just have to wait and see. Odie, Puck, Shadow Demon. Lots of good mid-disrupting heroes going out, so I think we're just going to see a lot of man-moding heroes, as many of these reliable disruptions are kind of fading away. You aren't left with many other options. You still have the Bane, you still have Vengeful Spirit. No, the Bane's gone, okay. So you still have maybe heroes like the Sven or the Vengeful Spirit that have a good stun, but the options for flat-out disruption are gone. I mean, Shadow Demon's disruption is gone. Odie's Astral Imprisonment is gone. Bane's Nightmare is taken out, so you don't really have too many setups anymore. And with the Puck gone out and his Dream Coil with his phase shift, you're losing options with slippery heroes. Rubik, though, coming out, can steal that Alchemist Rage, he can steal the Alchemist's Acid Spray, and even the Unstable Concoction, so maybe some good stuns coming out from him, but all in all, Tiny Flightless Dragons are missing that very stunning output. Stunning output. We might see, again, maybe a Sven off lane, either carry or support. I mean, safe lane, sorry. Carry or support. Or the Vengeful Spirit. Maybe even a Magnus. But of course, they're going to have to get something like that soon, or they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Alchemist with Unstable Concoction again, and Nyx Assassin with the Impale. It's a lot to deal with. That's Impale, yeah. So it's going to be a lot of stun to deal with, and unless you've got that BKB late game, or maybe even a Lincoln Sphere for the... no, I don't think a Lincoln Sphere would be great. Queen of Pain coming out, very good mid hero to... You're going to have to deal with Windrunner. I thought the Weaver was going to off lane. Maybe they're going to run the Weaver safe lane with the Rubik and have a Windrunner off lane. But then again, there's your stun coming out, and with the Nature's Prophet, if you trap him in those trees and then let off your shackles, that's a very, very long stun that you're going to have to deal with. And not one that you're going to prefer to deal with, obviously, but still, I think they need that real setup stun, and with Telekinesis, they could get that. They could not. It all depends. We're going with the final pick for deleted. Looks like they're running with a stand-in, Mr. Cow there. So, not the full deleted lineup, although I don't think it makes too much of a difference. These lower level teams, of course, they're good in their own respects, but in terms of whether they need, whether stand-ins really affect them or not, I don't think these teams practice enough where they gel together so well that a stand-in throws that off completely. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but I don't think a stand-in is going to be too consequential here. The Bounty Hunter coming out not too great versus the Weaver. Of course, his track does get purged, or whatever you would call it, with the time-lapse. Of course, still good at spotting out Invis heroes if the time-lapse is on cooldown, or if the Weaver doesn't get it off in time. Maybe they stun him out, chain stun him, get the track off so that if he tries to scooch you away, maybe, but I don't know. Still a very good hero to gank with, and with that Nyx Assassin and Queen of Pain, you're going to have a little bit of global presence there. You're going to keep Tiny Flightless Dragons in lane, scared to go in jungle, and scared to do whatever they need to do around the map, because you've got that heavy, heavy, heavy burst damage that can pretty much take down any hero without too much strength. And so with the final bans coming out, Leshrac, the stunner on 4 legs, going away, and just one more ban for the Radiant side. Rather, for the Dire side. And they're going to duck into reserve time, so some quick thoughts. I said that Tiny Flightless Dragons didn't have a lot of stun. I'm kind of going back on that. With the Rubik's Telekinesis into the Nature's Prophet Sprout, then Windrunner with their Shackles, I think they have enough. Maybe just go for a regular on a mid-hero, maybe? They're going to run Nature's Prophet in the jungle, there's no doubt about it. Weaver is going to probably be in the safe lane with the Rubik and Windrunner off lane. So either... well, you're going to need a good mid-hero. Otherwise, they're going to run the Rubik mid and then have a support on the Weaver's lane. And Jakiro got banned out. I can never tell because it's in green, but I think that's actually the dire side. Jakiro banned out. So, just so many stuns, so many initiations have been banned out in this team, in this drafting phase. So, I'm kind of excited to see how things are gonna go. Invoker. So it looks like the mid does get picked out in the form of a Grand Magus. They actually have the Rubik and the Invoker, so a little bit of lore crash there, but my stats man is yelling at me not to call him the Grand Magus, but I say nerds to you. Rubik is technically the Grand Magus, but Invoker mastered all the spells, so you know, come on. I want to see a lore fight between Invoker and Rubik, though. That is probably one of the more epic things that I could think of. Although I could just be a, I could just have a very construed view of what epic would be. Crystal Maiden picked out, finally, for the Radiant side. So it looks like I was right the first time. This is the Radiant. Okay. So it looks like Cow on the Crystal Maiden, Droid Organs on the Alchemist. Probably going to be a carry Alchemist in a tri-lane with the Nyx and Crystal Maiden. Hrathgar off-laning with the Bounty Hunter. Sterling Archer on that Nyx. Meanwhile, Pinky the Pirate is going to go safe lane with the Weaver, and with the Rubik is going to support him being played by Lucky Fox. Dakane, probably going to see him go jungle with Mr. Nice Guy playing Windrunner off lane, and Static Walker on the Invoker in the mid. I'm really excited about this, guys, because Invoker is not a hero that you usually see. And it looks like we have some good stats. Deleted actually went 4-0 Season 1, so they probably have a really strong team lineup here going into this game. And gonna give the Fighting Dragons, the Flightless Dragons, the Fighting, I like that better, but the Flightless Dragons a run for their money in this, as I have no idea. I haven't seen them play before, so I'm not quite sure what their style is, although if they're confident enough to run the Invoker, I'm not going to run that past them. A little bit of aggression might come out on the top as Bounty Hunter spots out the Weaver. Does level up the Scoochie first, though. Gonna see him be very, very sneaky. I've seen Bounty Hunter run against the Weaver in most programs, and usually the Weaver does come off on top. As the Bounty Hunter does have good burst damage, but the Weaver can constantly run away. Doesn't need to spend too much on his invis there, and has a very low cooldown. Meanwhile, Bounty Hunter's not as good of a cooldown and doesn't give him that bonus movement speed. But of course, he's going against the dual lane, so one pickup, one drop down, and a Scoochie, and that could be a very, very upset Bounty Hunter. Meanwhile, Alchemist being played as a carry role, did level up his Greevil's Greed first, so it looks like he's going to be going for the carry build. He could do anything he really wants in this game, leveling up his stun and his Asta Spray first. I feel like it would give him a lot of damage potential, especially in this off lane, against this off lane Windrunner. And mid, Invoker versus the Queen of Pain. I naturally favor Invoker in this matchup, as if he goes for Exhort first, which he did, he can output so much damage and just last hit, out deny. So we saw the stats. The Fighting Dragons are this is their first game as a team, so I'm kind of worried for them. But of course, I have seen lower level teams beat upper level teams. It's not an uncommon sight. It's just about whether you're having your good day and they're having their bad day, or if you're the Fighting Dragons, the Flying Dragons are indeed very good, and we just don't see it yet. So all in all, judge on the stats too much in this game. Bounty Hunter is contesting the pulls a little bit and sitting right up, getting the last hit, so he's in a pretty comfortable position. This Nature's Prophet sitting in the jungle, not going to be too much of an issue. If the Bounty Hunter spots him out, he's at level 2, he's got plenty of burst damage, he can do quite a bit. Fade Bolt and auto attack coming in, and that's half health, a little more than half health Bounty Hunter. Invoker, not doing as well as he would have hoped, actually. Sitting about half health. He does have Cross, though, which is going to be able to regen his health quite fast. You see 11.2 regen at level 3 is nothing to scoff at. And highest CS on the board is going to that Weaver, naturally, with a very good damage output earlier on in the game. And Queen of Pain, looks like they went on a battle for the rune, nothing really happened. The Blink and the Scream of Pain, one more auto attack. No, it goes down to the dagger as First Blood going the way of the Queen of Pain. A really nice pickup, as if she can snowball against this Invoker, then she can be in a very comfortable position. A lot of damage coming out in the Bounty Hunter, though. And we just see the Weaver's prowess in this offlane. Bounty Hunter should really be careful. He's a bit out of position right here, sitting in the back of the creep wave. Going to take a little bit of damage and null out most of what that salve got him. Trialing on bot. Securing the Alchemist farm, but this Crystal Maiden actually getting some pretty good levels, so looks like Bounty Hunter's pull ward didn't block the camp. I don't see a ward, so it just appeared. So if you did see the ward on the map, do not put a ward there, as it does not block the camp, as my statsman has so graciously pointed out. A lot of damage, a lot of harass going on the Bounty Hunter. Again, just showing his prowess in this game. Tries to get a little bit of burst on the Weaver, but it isn't enough, and he ends up taking more damage than he puts out. Alchemist doing a very good job last sitting under tower. Of course, tower is not where they want to be, but with the pull, it's definitely where you're going to be. You need some serious lane control to not have the wave push under tower. Either that or a lot of tank. Bounty Hunter getting a little bit aggressive, as Bounty Hunter can do. There are no sentry wards up to counter him yet, so he's just going to run around freely. Get a little bit more burst damage on this Weaver and taking one attack to boot, so starting to find his niche in this lane. Windrunner getting zoned out quite heavily. Actually a lower level on the off lane than the tri lane, so Windrunner sufficiently being shut down in this fight. Scoochie coming out on the Bounty Hunter. Looking to get a bit more harass on this Weaver, and it's going to come out in the form of one Janata hit. No, it's just going to be the bonus damage from the invisibility. Scream of Pain being thrown out by the Queen of Pain. Not doing too much damage again. Qua's going to help the Invoker stay up alive and regen all that he loses. Although, losing in CS, which is not where you want to be, Bounty Hunter dying to the Weaver. As I said earlier, they did get this Sentry Ward out, so Bounty Hunter not going to be able to be as aggressive as he usually is. And the Weaver going to have a bit more leniency on this lane. Crystal Maiden looking for that little bit of frostbite on this Windrunner. Not going to find it, but always going to look for it, as one little disruption on this Windrunner, followed up by a stun, followed up by the auto attack damage, could mean a very dead Windrunner. Of course, Windrun going to be able to let her miss or dodge a lot of that. The March of the Mud Golems coming out. Looks like Nick stacked multiple Mud Golems, and no more Mud Golems. So Windrunner actually in a very bad spot. The Impale misses, though, and that's enough of that. A very slow teleporting from the Nature's Prophet. Not sure what he was thinking, as the Queen of Pain could just blink right on out of that. So a 3-man rotation in on mid. They could find out the Bounty Hunter, though. They know he's there. No, Bounty Hunter instead looking for the Rubik. The Sentry Ward does come down, and the lift. He's going right on the ledge. No. Not sure if you can still put people on the ledge like that. Queen of Pain, though, getting the Scream of Pain and the Sonic Wave, and that's a dead Rubik. Looks like they're not done. They want the Nature's Prophet. He's just walking away. Shadow Walk going to give him a little bonus damage with the Janata. No. Shadow Walk, no bonus damage as he throws out the track burst. But the Shuriken toss does come out, and that's a track kill on the Invoker. It's 3-1 sitting for Deleted versus the Flightless Dragons. And we see they haven't really gotten flying yet, which their name certainly suggests not the position they want to be in. Golden XP graphs were in the Flightless Dragons' favor for a short amount of time, but now going pretty much in Deleted's favor. Not too consequential in the early game as it's only about 750 and 250 respectively, but a lead is a lead. And the pings are coming out on the Nature's Prophet, and it looks like 3-man rotation coming in. First damage is there, and the Nature's Prophet goes down. But just like that, the Nyx being spotted out. One auto attack coming out the stun, but not enough damage. And Queen of Pain dropping out 488 as Statsman has pointed out. Looks like a track and the Janata hit coming out on the Weaver. But Bounty Hunter's going to back off. Windrunner harassing out this. Looks like the rotation coming in from the Nature's Prophet. And then the Shackle, we see that very long stun as I pointed out. The power shot secures the kill. And Mr. Nice Guy taking out Droid Okins, who proceeds to buy back right on into this game. And I mentioned in the draft, this good global presence of the Nyx and the Bounty Hunter against the global presence and split push of the Nature's Prophet. We just see which one comes out on top. Nyx trying to snipe out the Courier. Looks like Crystal Mane is going to be the one to find it, but no one's going to get it. And the burst damage coming out from the Rubik and the Sakuchi damage. Looks like the Windrunner and the Nyx both going to go out. They tried to find it, but they didn't get it. Rubik goes down to the auto attack damage of the Bounty Hunter.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
And that's a
attack.
2-for-1. 2-for-2 as Queen of Pain is able to take out the Invoker mid with that double damage rune. And just like that,
Radiant's bottom tower is
Weaver
under attack.
pulls out the kill on the Bounty Hunter. 11 kills in 9 minutes. Not too bad of a game. Overall, though, not really favoring any team. They did lose their mid, which is not where they want to be. And actually, 3 did go down and the buyback. So, favoring the Flightless Dragons in that engagement. Pinky the Pirate putting some good damage out on this tower. With the Geminate, going to be able to output so much damage. And it looks like Nature's Prophet going to go ahead and try to snipe this stack that looks like Nyx so graciously took out for them. But just like that, Nyx is going to find him out. And then the Unstable Concoction going to block out the stun. A few more auto attacks, and that's a very dead Nature's Prophet. The track goes off, but he was killed by a neutral. I'm not sure. I didn't see any gold going their way, so I'm not sure if the track kill was able to give any gold for them, but the neutrals did get out the kill, so that's a bit of a wasted opportunity as one more auto attack would have been able to seal the deal. Overall, great positioning coming out. To all those in the chat, feel free to drop a line, ask questions. I'll be happy to answer anything that you've got. Looks like all we got is a picture. Not quite sure what it is. It looks like it leads to a download site. I don't suggest anyone going there. Also, if you guys like the music, let me know. If you don't want it, I'll just turn it right off. It's really up to you guys. I'm trying something new. As Mr. AAC pointed out, some people like music, some don't. So just drop me your preference. Invoker gonna drop mid as a track kill. The Shuriken finishing up the deal.
Radiant's top tower is
Meanwhile, Weaver might go ahead and drop down this top tier 1. The ping's coming out. They want to defend it. Do they have glyph? They do not have glyph. This is a tier 1 tower going down. So first tower of the game going the way of the Flightless Dragons. Even though that Invoker went down, still a lot of gold to make up for it. Looks like deleted. Really want this Windrunner. Here comes the Unstable Concoction. It does land out right on the edge of the range, though. That could have been disastrous if it had landed on the Alchemist, but he throws it out just in time.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Middle tower under a little bit of a siege, literally from the siege creep. And Nyx looks like he really wants it. And Alchemist going for the Midas. I don't agree with that at all, actually. Not at all. Alchemist, He's got a perfect, well, not a perfect last hit. He's only sitting at 43 CS, but he's got one hell of a built-in Midas. I would say go for a double Maelstrom, actually, as those lightning procs may be able to really do a lot of damage to these earlier on squishy heroes, but instead, he goes for the Midas. 11 minutes. He's got Greeble, Greed, and Midas. He's going to go for that late game farming. A lot of damage going out on top. The Weaver time-lapsing out the damage, and they're able to pull down the Bounty Hunter in the process. Looks like Nyx getting a bit of a return kill, but at what cost? He does not have his invisibility. Does have his stun, though, and it's going to stun out both of them on him. Tier 1 tower's out, though, and then the Sunstrike. It does hit, sinks true, and then the auto attack from the Weaver. Looks like Unstable Concoction hitting out the Wind Run a bit. Shouldn't have put it out, as he would have been able to Wind Run right on away. Power Shot, though, might be able to finish off this Alchemist. No, it barely misses. And then she's in tower range. Takes a few tower hits, and then the Crystal Maiden with a Frostbite. And the Nova is able to take her out.
Dress warmer next time.
A giant misplay by the Windrunner. Should not have been where she was. And then the Invoker, sitting a bit too far ahead, gets hit by the Unstable Concoction. Bounty Hunter looks like he wants the Weaver. No, Weaver's going to scoot you away. And it's a 4-man for deleted sitting up bottom. But they've lost almost all semblance of a lead that they got, sitting 2k down in both respects. They need this tower to bring back a little bit of gold, as they have no tower so far and have lost their top. And then just like that, Windrunner are able to catch out the Bounty Hunter, who was sitting out under tower, so they had perfect vision of him. They were able to snipe him down. So a little bit more of a lead going their way. And then the Shackle coming out, but barely missing the tree. I'm not quite sure what that was. Pure luck, I guess, on the Queen of Pain's part. She is able to get out because of the Shackle missing. That's going to be a 3-man push on bottom. They're looking at this tower. Meanwhile, mid tower is also under quite a bit of fire. Weaver taking hits, but really inconsequential. For those of you who don't know, you can auto attack a friendly creep, and the tower will stop aggroing you. So, not sure if Weaver knew that, but with the creeps tower, with the Treants attacking tower, they would be taking all the damage. Looks like the push on bottom did get silenced a little bit, as they're sitting all the way back at the tower again.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And I guess a giant misplay on the Radiant's part, as they weren't able to deny their tower, even though it was taking hits from the siege creep. That's an easy deny for them. But of course, the Weaver could have gone in and taken the last hit under their noses. So Weaver dropping out the BKB instead of the Lincoln Sphere. I'm not sure if I agree with that decision, but of course, right afterwards, he does go drop down, and then the Sunstrike barely missing. A bit of a miss aim. If he had landed it right there, he would have gotten the hit. Of course, he had a 50-50% chance. Windrunner getting bursted down. Doesn't look like her dagger is able to do enough damage, but they deny him anyway. Better safe than sorry. Radiant does have a nice ward there, though. If they want to take out the Weaver, they have the option. Bounty Hunter gonna sit under the aegis of his tower. Looks like Alchemist trying to find his farm. That Hand of Might is not proven to be too useful at the moment. We'll see what he picks up, though. Looks like it's going to be a Claymore, so he's going for a Shadow Blade. Right now would be the ideal time for a Shadow Blade. The farther you go, the longer, less effective it becomes, so he's going to have to get it up in the next 5 to 6 minutes. Track on Weaver can easily time-lapse that out. It's only got a 50-second cooldown, so if he wanted to waste it, he could. But of course, I don't hold it against him to want to save it for a later point. Looks like a bit of an engagement coming on mid. Queen of Pain wanted that Weaver, but the Weaver scooching out, not taking too much damage. But Weaver getting caught out by both the Crystal Maiden, who then ends up going down. And then the time-lapse coming out, and they're not able to take down this Weaver. Instead, they're taking a lot of damage to themselves. The Nyx goes down to the burst damage from the Unstable Concoction. But just like that, it looks like Alchemist is going to go down as well. And Weaver taking another hit. as he's able to take down Queen of Pain. Bounty Hunter's going to walk right away, but don't see what he's going to be able to do in this fight. That did not go in Radiant's way at all. In fact, it's only doing so much to push the advantage in terms of the Dire, sitting 6,000 about each way and constantly dropping. And it looks like Nature's Prophet got a split push up top. Got his eyes on this tower, taking a lot of damage. Bomb tower is also in the crosshairs. So I'm looking at these teams. It just doesn't look like Radiant have the items to do really anything. I mean, we're looking at Dire. They've almost got two Orchids finished. They've almost got a BKB on Pinky the Pirate. Rubik doing a great job warding, and Nature's Invoker looks like he's picking up his Drums of Endurance. And then we look at the Radiant side, and we got almost two Orchids, but a lot less progress than it looks like the Dire has. And then nothing really else. A half of a Shadow Blade, a Hand of Midas, and then nothing. So they're really going to need to step up their game if they want to pull it back. Maybe get some people in the jungle and start farming a little bit. As of right now, though, they have very little map control. And with that Nature's Prophet just jumping around, they're going to have to deal with a little bit of damage before they do anything really in this fight. Meanwhile, Weaver catching out a 3-man Impale. Brilliant job, but does not have the backup to finish it off. In fact, the Windrunner turning it right around, and then the 3-man Scream of Pain. It looks like the Sunstrike trying to catch someone out, but not able to do so. And they're going to get away with a 3-0 counter initiation. The Flightless Dragons picking it up, dropping into flight. And Alchemist not able to do too much as this Weaver. And it looks like the Shackle catching on a range creep. They're going to be able to burst down this Alchemist and take out the tower. This tower taking plates from many different sources. It looks like it's going to go straight on down. Crystal Maiden wants that last hit on the Magma creep that Invoker spawns. And a bit of a stun, Impale coming out from the Nyx, but not able to do too much in this fight, as it's sitting 18-12. The Flightless Dragons, even though they had a rough start, they're picking it up real bad, and Mr. Static Water on the Invoker still trying to get off his feet, but has his Staff of Wizardry. I'm going to be able to do a little bit more in this fight. Not sure what he's going with. Maybe an Aghanim Scepter. Paired with that Invoke is going to do is able to make the Invoker do a lot more in these team fights. He can quickly kill it, queue up spells really fast, and put them out at almost the speed of light. Dire doing a good job of just putting in the jungle, keeping their goal lead well ahead, and it's really doing work as they're sitting 12k in the lead in both respects. So, but just like that, they're going to catch out the Nature's Prophet, the Impale, the Track, a few more auto attacks, and then they're going to go ahead and dust away. So not quite sure what they're planning with that dust. Maybe just for the extra movement speed to get on out, avoid the rotation, but it doesn't look like it's coming in. So a nice little pickup to get there. Obviously, Nature's Prophet sitting pretty high on the level list, so just a quick look at all the little stats there. Yeah, he's level 13 right there, so that's a nice pickup to have. A little bit of XP boost, and it's going to bring them a little bit in their favor, but not as much as they'd like. And quite frankly, at this point, they need the perfect turnaround to just do a little bit of damage. And I'm talking 5-man Impale, catch mostly everyone with that Alchemist Unstable Concoction, get a few tracks off, get the Nova off, get the Screen of Pain, get their Sonic Wave out on almost all their team, and just get the burst out. Kill them all fast, make sure their damage dealers are gone, make sure they can't steal any of those high-profile stuns, and just clean up. And right now, it doesn't look like the Dire is giving them too much opportunity to do that. You saw how they got the 4-man Impale coming out on the mid lane right about there, but without too much follow-up, the Windrunner was able to turn it around with a brilliant set of shackles. And Nature's Prophet able to split push out and then join the team fight when he needs to. And speaking of team fight, it looks like we're going to see a bit of an engagement coming out right here. They know they're going to find the Weaver quite well alone. They get the unstable concoction. Nyx trying to do all he can, and he's able to do so. The Sonic Wave doing great work against this Windrunner as the Scream of Pain does come out and finish her off. Invoker is still alive, though, and doing work as he takes out the Alchemist and the Crystal Maiden with the team. And then the Nyx getting out the last Impale out, but not able to do much. Nature's Prophet, as I said, coming to join the fight. That's a 3 for 2. Quite well in favor of the Dire team. They haven't lost any towers. They're sitting ahead on kills, and this lead is just continuously going in their favor. So they're going to go ahead and try and go on this bottom tier 2 tower with only Queen of Pain and Bounty Hunter to try to stop. But even then, there's not too much that they can do. And just some auto attacks coming out. Tower got 20 armor, but it's not really doing much as the tower sits really low. Looks like the track. They want to get it out. And then the Orchid of Malevolence. A few auto attacks. And they might be able to burst him down with that Orchids. No, not doing nearly enough damage. Weaver just time lapses right out, sitting very high health. Unstable concoction, getting charged up. They're going to try to burst down this Weaver, and they get him. Sunstrike though, coming out, almost hitting the Queen of Pain. No, she blinks out right away. And then the Ghost Walk. They don't have any real AoE. Nature's Prophet taking out the Radiant's top tier 1. Crystal Maiden going down. And they're charging up the unstable concoction, but then the shackle coming out and it hitting himself. It looks like the Invoker sees the perfect time to strike, but oh no, he's getting bursted down just a little bit. He might take out the Alchemist just to say no, and he does. Nature's Prophet TPing in, but at what cost? He's able to take down the Nyx. And then the Queen of Pain gonna fall shortly after. That's a 5-man team wipe. Quite well, falling constantly in favor as the Flightless Dragons. And they're going to go ahead and try for this bottom tier 3. And with this amount of firepower, it looks like they can take it out rather quick. Crystal Maiden, just a bit of a liability right now as she's sitting up. No, gets out the, takes out the little minions of Invoker and is able to defend the tower for a little bit more. 19 seconds till Queen of Pain's up, but Alchemist is up, Nyx is up, Bounty Hunter's up. They're going to have to go ahead and forego this, but they're going to turn that fight into Roche, as Nature's Prophet sitting in the Roche pit, Weaver short to follow. And Weaver does have his BKB and is looking for his next item, sitting at 2.2 gold, K gold in the bank. Might just go for Divine Rapier. I wouldn't hold it against him. Meanwhile, though, Bounty Hunter finally picks up his Orchid of Malevolence. Queen of Pain picked up hers a while ago. But she's sitting against 2 and they're sitting against 2. So it's a 2v2. Who has the better Orchids? We'll just have to wait and see. One's got shackles to back it up. Looks like a 5-man just coming out from the Dire team. They split up a little bit though. And we're gonna go ahead and farm up the jungle. Track out on the Weaver. Getting a little bit of extra vision for the team. But they're in no position to fight this out. Bottom tier 3, taking a little bit of damage. The siege creep is there and is fighting. Siege creep, a really nice creep to have. Stack them up and you got a power killing machine. And here's a push down mid. And looks like Nature's Prophet finishing up his level 2 Necronomicon. Gonna be a good thing to have in these fights. Being able to spot out with the level 3 with that True Sight. And another track coming out. There's 2 tracks in favor of the Radiant team. If they can get a good team fight off, they're going to get a lot of gold from this. Scream paid out on the Weaver, but not doing too much damage. Looks like Nyx coming in from the back. Does get a stun on almost everyone. Gets the Impale on the Rubik. And then the Sonic Wave able to do plenty of work finishing off the Rubik. But Nyx turns around right on this Alchemist, right on the Bounty Hunter, right on the Crystal Maiden. And then the Nyx. Now tier 3 tower is going down. These shackles are ridiculous. They certainly are. And then the GGs have been called. GG, well played. There's mid-racks going down. Stick around. I think this is going to go to a game 2. But for now, we can just go ahead and watch the takeout base. And then the DC. So, all in all, some really good stuns coming out from the team that I said in the drafting phase did not have quite the stun capability. So, obviously, I'm being proved wrong. And some good win rate stats coming out from Sir Rabbit Koala, my stats man. Big props to him, dropping out some good little facts and tidbits as the game progresses, keeping us with some good information, as well as correcting mistakes that I may or may not have made. So you guys have been joined by Chicago Ted in this scrim. Stick around. I think this is going to a game 2. If not, this is a Reddit Dota 2 League scrim. These teams preparing for a Season 2 of the league. Next game coming up.